Hey everyone, it's Lori, and I'm here today to talk about math. I am not a math person, which is weird. People think I should be a math person because one of my majors in college was accounting, but I am a money person and not a math person. So if there's a dollar sign in a math problem, I can figure it out. But generally speaking, math and I do not love each other. So it has always been one of the subjects I struggled with the most as a homeschool mom. One of the things that I have heard multiple times from multiple sources in the homeschool world is that you should put your money in your weakest subjects. So if you are great at something, you probably don't need to spend a lot of money on curriculum. If you're not so good at something, you should spend more money. And I have taken that to heart. So I'm here with some different math resources and books and games and stuff that we have used over the years. So we found out very early that I could not teach math. When Eva was 4, we were doing Seton Home Study School, and their kindergarten math made us cry every single day, both her and I. Yeah, addition should not be that complicated. So we survived that book over the course of 2 years with much crying. But then we moved on. So the next thing we moved on to was Math UC, which was better. There was less crying, but it wasn't perfect. And it wasn't until we found teaching textbooks that we kind of hit our stride. So I'm going to start with our basic math curriculum. We have been using teaching textbooks from 3rd grade through geometry. So teaching textbooks starts in 3rd grade. I don't know if they're ever going to go any lower than that. And it goes up to like calculus, I think, way beyond the math I ever learned. So basically how it functions is it is a DVD curriculum. So here I have our pre-algebra set, which Charlotte is working on right now. So you get all these discs, and each disc has the lessons on it. So they have a lecture. The lecture has audio. It's kind of multimedia, so it fills in stuff as it goes. And then they have some practice problems, and then they have a set of problems they have to do. It is self-grading as long as you get, like, they had some earlier versions that weren't in the upper grades of math, but it's self-grading, so everything grades itself. It's wonderful. It's been a lifesaver. So you get the DVDs. They have a new version that I'll talk about in a minute. And then you can also get a set that has the book and answer key. So we could find pre-algebra CDs, 7th grade answer key, and Algebra 1 book, because it's the end of the school year, and this is just kind of how we're going. So basically this is for mom. It has the answers, so if for some reason your kid was doing their math in the book instead of on the computer, you could grade it. I do not know why you would do that. If my kids do their math in a book or on paper, I require them to put it into the computer so the computer can grade it for me. The book is exactly the same, so it literally has all of the lecture typed out and then all of the problems. Now this year teaching textbooks came out with, these are the 2.0, which is basically how you know it's the self-grading on the upper levels of math. They came out with a 3.0, which is a web-based. So that is what Eva is doing this year. She's doing geometry. So you can log in from any computer, anywhere, and do your math there. You can also print out lessons. So like when Eva was doing swim team, I would often print her a lesson or two to take on the bus that she would promptly ignore and not ever do. But it made me feel better as a homeschool mom that I was trying to make her do her homework while she was off at swim meets. So I am really enjoying the 3.0. Charlotte's going to stay in the DVD through algebra because we have that. And then she'll probably move to the 3.0 when she gets to geometry as well. Here we are in Eva's geometry thing. You can set this background. She chose a really artsy one, of course, because that's Eva. So it looks like she's on lesson 85 right now. You can see that you can start the lecture by clicking here, and then you got the practice problems. So I can see she got practice A, B, C, and E correct, and she got practice D wrong. And then I can see how she's doing on her problems. So it looks like she hasn't quite finished. She hasn't done problem 16. She hasn't completed problem 18. And then she hasn't done 22 through 24. You can have little buddies. She currently has angry eyebrows, apparently. Wallpapers. And then you can choose your sound things if you want your buddies to make sounds or not. So I'm just going to leave them as she has them. Sometimes you can get little hints from your buddy over here. So that's fun too. So we really enjoy the 3.0. It's been pretty handy to be able to do math wherever. We're here in our parent homepage for teaching textbooks, and this is the geometry. So you can see we've got a bunch of different things. We can change passwords, change the hint and second chance rules, contact teaching textbooks. So these are two handy features for the parents. You can view and print the student textbook and answer key. So I also have a free trial of Algebra 2 right now. So you can go in here and print a lesson. You can view the whole chapter at a time. So if I wanted to look at chapter 3, I could just look at those. You can look at the index. So if we'll just look at the lesson on Euclid. So this is the whole textbook. So you could print out this set of pages and it can go with your kids somewhere. You also obviously get into the Gradebook, so we can look and we can see how Eva is doing on her lessons. So you can see she's a pretty good student, but every once in a while she doesn't do as great. But you can also delete a lesson. So if there's a score you don't like, say you've decided your kids have to have a 90 or above, you can come in and delete the lesson and have them redo it. And then the C lets you know that they've completed the entire lesson. One of the things that we've always done is try to encourage kind of math facts in as fun ways as possible. So one of the ways we've done that is with Extra Math. It's extra, xtramath.org. And it is a little bit of a competitive against yourself. You're not competing against other people. You sometimes race a teacher. But just math facts, getting them fast. So we had our girls complete that. I made Eva go through the whole process at a faster speed. Charlotte needed to slow down at first, so I made her go through a second time at the regular speed, and then she was able to be done. So they're both done with Extra Math now. But it was just very simple, online, just math facts practice that they could do every day. We also like to play games just to kind of get our brains going in the morning. So a couple of them that I particularly like for math, we have some more that I don't like quite as much, are Math Dice. I have Math Dice Junior. We've had this for a long time, obviously. So it is a dice game. It gives you a little board. I kind of love their little board. So you got a start and a finish. You can do a short game or a long game, start here and go to here, or start here and go to here. And you just use like pennies or whatever as your markers. So everybody can have their own marker. And you have a target die, so you roll this, and then you roll all of these, and you have to use math to make the number on the target die. There is also a regular version that's not junior. This one focuses more on addition and subtraction. I think the older game might have higher numbers for multiplication and division, but I just never got that one. So this one was fun. We don't play it very often anymore. They've kind of aged out of the math dice. But if you have younger kids that you're homeschooling, or even if you have younger kids that just need some work on their math facts, I think this one's a fun game. The other one was a Christmas gift, I think, from one of the girls' great aunts, if I remember correctly. And that is Samuku. So this one is also fun. I am a huge fan of bananagrams, and I think that's why my husband's aunt got this for us is because it's kind of similar in theory to bananagrams. But you have you have a target die, again, it has different numbers on it, and then you have a bunch of numbered tiles, so they're numbered and colored. So we have an orange 4, a purple 9 or 6, it can be either one you choose, and a yellow 8. And so basically what you're doing with this is you're trying to make multiples of the number you roll. So if you rolled a 5, you can make 5, 10, 15, whatever, but you can only use one of each color, which makes it a little harder. So and then there's some ways to make it harder and ways to make it easier. But this is kind of a fun, more like multiplication, multiples sort of thing. I enjoy some Muku. Maybe a little more than the girls do, but I'm highly competitive. For fun with math, I also have these from Usborne Books. This is not a math book, and this is not another math book. So these are kind of artsy math books. Parabolic stuff, webs, mandalas, triangles, so you can just, like, it's kind of like almost how math and art intersect. These are kind of fun too, but it just gives you lots of different ideas. These are actually kind of activity books. I kind of ask the girls to just do them on like graph paper and stuff so that they can share them, so that I don't have to always be buying new little workbook things. But so it's kind of art, it's kind of math, it's kind of fun, it's good for my kind of artsy kids. And this is the same thing, but it's, just another version. So drawing with lines and angles, loopy dots, some paper folding. So just kind of fun stuff. Kind of in a how to figure out what you're doing, or how I can figure out what they're doing when I don't remember their math. I like having these Usborne illustrated dictionaries of math. So there's a third one. I think we own it. Can't find it, but I think it's a early elementary one. This one is the Illustrated Elementary Math Dictionary, and this one's the Illustrated Dictionary of Math. So if we're having a problem and can't figure out how to do it, I say go find a math dictionary and look it up. So we could look up like area formulas if we can't remember how to figure the area of something. This will really quickly help us figure it out. Circle calculations, I think even might be doing this in geometry right now. So how to deal with circles. And the color of that really threw off everything. Basic algebra, distributive property, all these things that I just barely remember, I can look it up and try to figure it out, or I can just send the kids directly to these. Okay, so next is more fun math. So these are actually a whole set of textbooks that I have in addition to our actual curriculum. I'm sure there are parents that could use this as an entire curriculum. I am not that parent, but they are super duper fun. And so I started kind of in the middle of it. I had to complete the set, although I still have more to buy on the upper ends of math. So we'll start with the elementary series. This is Life of Fred. And so we got this little angly faced guy here. His name is Fred. I think he's 5. And he teaches at Kitten's University. He's a math genius. So anyway, he teaches math to kids. And it's in a very story format. So you start with apples. That's the first one in the elementary school series. And then it ends with jelly beans for early math. So you just go through these. So like 6 we have here. Fred goes to class. His classroom is in the Archimedes building. And then here's a painting of Archimedes. And who it was painted by when he died. So you get to learn a little bit about Archimedes. And then we're learning also about telling time on clocks. So it just kind of goes through. It's just fun. I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than fun. But the story of Fred just continues all the way through. And you learn a lot of math along the way. So there's always a section where you let's play math. Let's see if I can turn to it. So it's the your turn to play section. So this is from Jelly Beans, and it says Joe's large bag of jelly stomach jelly beans contains 7,317 beans. Joe had counted them. There are 271 beans in each pound. How many pounds did Joe's jelly beans weigh? So you figure out how to calculate that, and then it also gives you how to figure it out. So you can, it shows exactly how to do the math to figure out that the bag would weigh 27 pounds. So those are fun. So that's every chapter. There's just a few little questions, and they always kind of relate back to whatever's going on in the story. So that's the elementary school series, is Apples Through Jelly Beans. And then there's the intermediate series, which has kidneys, liver, and mine shaft. And this just continues on, but covers slightly more advanced math. Still got Fred at Kittens University doing all of his crazy things. So he also has a doll that paints named Kingy. And then moving right along, there's also decimals and percents and fractions. So if this is an area of struggle, these are great because they're a lot more fun than the standard decimal and percent and fraction sort of things are. But I do have his pre-algebra set. So we've got pre-algebra 0 with physics, pre-algebra 1 with biology, and pre-algebra 2 with economics. So these get a little bit thicker than, this is like the decimal and percent. But they also teach just the most random things along with the math. So I think these are great. They're just, like you could use them as an entire curriculum. I do need to buy more. My husband probably disagrees with that statement, but I do really enjoy these. I like to read them too. I honestly haven't finished reading all the way through the elementary series. I've read bits and pieces of all of them, but I was kind of reading all the way through and kind of fell off the wagon somewhere in there. But so, Life of Fred is hilarious, is great, and you should check it out. He also has a English sort of series that we also own because I can't say no. The last of the math resources I want to talk about are books by Danica Mckellar. Now, Danica Mckellar was Winnie in the Wonder Years, and then she went on to get like a PhD in math or something. She's way super smart. But she writes these books. They are targeted at teenage girls. She explains things so well. The only thing we don't really love about these books is that they're targeted at teenage girls. So this is the first one, Math Doesn't Suck, How to Survive Middle School Math. So it has like quizzes and whatever, and there's always talk about boys and whatever, and that just makes my girls roll their eyes a lot. But she does a very good job of explaining things step by step. This one's talking about fractions, showing exactly how you work with the fractions, how to reduce fractions, all the things you need to know. So Math Doesn't Suck is middle school math. I've done, I think, pretty much this entire book with Eva. Charlotte may have done some of it. Next up is Kiss My Math, showing pre-algebra who's boss, and Charlotte is working on this year because she was struggling a little bit with her pre-algebra. So hopefully this is helping her to jive a little bit better. Again, she doesn't really love all the girly fashion boy type stuff, but I think that the simple explanations in here more than make up for the kind of I don't know. Homeschoolers don't have the same boy drama. I guess that's a fair way to put it. So there's that one. I also have Hot X Algebra Exposed. I don't think anybody's read any of this yet. I really should read it because I'm not so good at algebra. And I really should get the geometry book as well because that's where Eva is right now. Maybe that would help her with some of the things that she's struggling with as well. So I do really appreciate Danica Mckellar's books. Even if I don't really love the kind of premise and target audience, but I do see how there is a need for a book that will appeal to a public schooled girl who doesn't like math right now. So, you know, they might be great for a lot of people. And I do think it's great information, and so I definitely recommend them, even though I don't love the whole girly stuff in here. So that is my take on different math resources that we use, that we like, that have helped over the years. Obviously, I have a deep curriculum problem, just a book problem in general, but curriculum in particular, I struggle with. So if you have any suggestions, particularly on the upper levels where I'm just now starting to explore now that my kids are older, please leave them below. If you have any questions for me, I'd love to answer them as well. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.